Hello, I'm Julian Schwarz. I'm the cello professor at Shenandoah Conservatory, and I'm coming to you today looking at the cello audition excerpts for the 2022 All-Virginia Orchestra audition. That was the Dotzauer Book 2, number 46, Allegro. As you practice this etude, it's important to try to get the evenness of the 2 and 2 bowing. That can be practiced in scales, and so forth. Important for you to get the bow out of the string in the slur. So it's more of a scooping motion. As far as positioning, it's important to have a little activity in the hand. If you get stuck in positions like so, it can sound a little stuck and stale. So I try to balance the hand a little bit. So I'm actually putting the fingers down and transferring the weight, even though it's very, very fast. With this etude, the hairpins are of utmost importance in terms of the music making. In those hairpins, it's fine to elongate the dotted staccato notes to help the crescendo diminuendo effect. Like so. The fingerings are in general good. In the second bar, I've opted to put the 2 slurred notes in the 3rd beat in one hand position instead of the suggested. So, in the 8th bar, there is no fingering indicated, but I've opted not to transfer strings. 4 on the second half of the 2nd beat, and no 1-1 there. But that could easily be done 2, and so forth. The Brahms Excerpt is one that you'll have to play in your career as an orchestral musician, and it is a very common audition excerpt, so it's very nice that it's here. It should show the legato playing. So be very sure to sustain as much in the bow. It suggests a quarter note of 42, and that says tempo is an estimate and a recommendation, so I'd practice with a metronome, and also have the subdivisions in your head. So as much as it says espressivo, you should always be subdividing in 16th notes. So, for instance, if the tempo were, I'd be thinking da 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 da, and so forth. This keeps the rhythm very accurate. Now, as far as the dynamic, Poco Forte can be a confusing dynamic. Basically, it was Brahms's way of adding another level of forte. So I like to think of it as in between a mezzo piano and a mezzo forte. So poco, mezzo, full. So if you have 3 levels of forte, the first would be poco forte, then mezzo forte, sort of in the middle, and then the actual forte, then fortissimo and so forth. So that is how I would play it. That said, it is traditional to play this slightly more robust in the tone than poco forte. So poco forte would be something like this. But as is the custom, we play slightly louder. notice in this, of course, the key signature. Make sure to honor the sharps in terms of the A sharps that you might miss. As far as the bowing, I have taken a liberty to divide up the slurs, which I don't consider to be bowings, but to be legato markings or phrase markings. So I divide usually in as equal proportions as possible, as you see in the video. Now, in the third bar, the dots under the slur, as I played, they're not short stops, rather nudges expressively. Those should be like matched pearls, very, very consistent in the articulation, and should all have vibrato. Now, in the fourth bar, you'll notice that there are 3/8 notes, and then a 16th rest. Make sure that you don't shortchange the 3rd 8th note. Here as well. 1, 2, off. And then in terms of the bowing, I hook in the diminuendo. Here it's very important that we maintain a consistent vibrato. So I have a very relaxed left hand, and I'm changing the bow in the string crossings to make them make sense. Now, the bow speed should increase with the crescendo. Here, you see how I'm saving a little bow on the E sharp so that the F sharp on the second beat of that bar can bloom. Diminuendo, slow bow, fast bow. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Throughout this excerpt, it's important to keep the vibrato going, keep the sustain toward the tip of the bow. The techniques for keeping the sustain at the tip of the bow are simply sort of threefold. One is pronation in the bow, to get the power at the tip by lifting the elbow, turning the first finger toward the stick of the bow, and getting this grip, enough to wiggle the string and be very tight up there. If that is not sufficient, you can use the bow speed, as I said, so that there is no decrease of bow speed, which leads to a diminuendo. The other way, which I like a lot, is shifting the weight to the left side of your rear. So this means as we go toward the tip, we actually move the body weight, shift the body weight to the left side, because this gives us a little more torso twist angle so that we can get the power at the tip, if that makes sense. It usually would occur to a cellist to go with the direction of the bow, but I find that going opposite increases the sound much more. So I wish you luck on your All-Virginia Orchestra audition, and again, this is Julian Schwarz at Shenandoah Conservatory in Winchester, Virginia.